Hey there, welcome back to No Recipe Required. I'm Dave. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Cuban sandwich, one of the all-time greats. It's got some pork, some ham, some Swiss cheese in there. It's almost like a panini in terms of the way we cook it. Let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so for our sandwich, great sandwiches I think start off with great bread. So I'm going to go ahead and use a loaf of bread here, fresh bread. Obviously you can do this with any kind of sliced bread you want. You're not going to have any problems with it. One of the things though I frequently have, if I get a piece of bread like this, is a hole in it. You can do a couple things. One, you can ignore it. It's not going to be all that troubling. The other thing you can do is actually patch the hole. I've got a piece of the end here that I'm not going to use for my sandwich. And if you just take a piece of the bread right out of there, especially for this sandwich, because it's we're going to cook it on a flat top, kind of like a grilled cheese. If you just go ahead and plug it, it'll work out just fine. I've got another hole over here I'm going to plug. So to make our Cuban, we've got a few ingredients. The toughest to get is the roast pork. Now this is great if you have say a pork tenderloin or something like that the night before, and you don't know what to do with the leftovers. This is a great way to use it. Here I've got a piece of pork shoulder that I made, and I'm just going to go ahead and slice a few thin slices of that pork for my sandwich. And you're looking to get them pretty thin. It doesn't have to be like paper, but definitely you don't want a whole chunk in there. Just enough to cover the sandwich. Looks like I'll do 3.5 maybe pieces. And then, you know what, I forgot to do a little mustard and mayo, which I like on my Cuban. It's probably not traditional, but I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. Do a little bit on that side, a little more mustard. Use obviously whatever kind of mustard you like. This is a little Dijon. And then I've also got some mayo that I'm going to put on my sandwich. So then, in addition to our roasted pork now, I've got a little bit of ham that I'm going to throw on there, maybe 2 slices. And then I've also got some Swiss cheese that I'll lay, and I actually kind of like draping the edges a little bit with the cheese, and it kind of drips down as it melts and forms a nice little crust there. And then the final thing on the Cuban is some pickles. I've got some dill pickle slices that I'm going to throw on. Then we cap our sandwich off, and I'm going to go ahead, like I said, you roast a Cuban sandwich or you cook it kind of like a panini. Let me go over and show you how I do that. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to do my Cuban essentially like a panini. And if you have a panini maker, go ahead and use that. But I actually don't have one. So what I use is I've got 2 pans here that I've put on the heat, let cook up or let get hot for about 10 minutes or so. And then I go ahead, add a little bit of butter, and then drop my, oops, just lost a pickle, that's alright. Just grab that guy, put him back on my sandwich. I go ahead, put that on there, get a little bit of butter on that one side. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side to get a little butter on there. Again, it's the butter helps the bread get nice and crispy as well as prevent any sticking there. I'm going to go ahead and lay that on there. Now you could also just go ahead and do this like a traditional grilled cheese. Let that go for a few minutes. Flip it over. What I like to do, I've got another pan here. Notice I've got the towel on it because this pan is hot as well. And I just lay that right on top of the sandwich and try and get it balanced so it doesn't kind of fall over or move around. And then just let it be sandwiched right in between those 2 pans. If you don't have the flat sides like this, you can go ahead, use just frying pan, use the bottom side of the frying pan, put that right on top. Again, just you're looking to get it in between 2 hot pieces of metal there. And if you don't have enough weight on it, just go ahead and grab anything you've got and lay that right on top as well. Okay, my sandwich has been roasting between these 2 pans for about 5 minutes now. you're really just looking for the crust to be, or the bread to get nice and crusty, the cheese to be melted, and then you're good to go. It's actually pretty hard to burn them on this technique because, frankly, we've shut the heat off once we put the sandwich on and the other side on top. So it's just the residual heat that kind of toasts everything and melts it out. Let's go serve this up. I just took my sandwich off the heat, and we are ready to serve it up. You may want, if there's a lot of cheese in it, you may want to let it rest for a couple minutes just so it calms down a little bit and becomes a little less runny. I like to go ahead, cut mine on the bias, and then you can see you've got that nice layered effect with the pickle, with the ham and the pork and cheese in there. And then to serve, I like this with just a nice little potato chip accompaniment. You can lay them on top of each other like that, make it look nice and pretty. And there you go, Cuban sandwich. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.